Today I'm going to be talking about wet dreams on semen retention. I'm going to be talking about why you may have them, what causes them, why can they affect you negatively and positively, and why you cause it. Um, how do they naturally affect you? Semen retention with and without um, busting or ejaculating, and the two types of wet dreams that you can have of semen retention, and it's my overall journey so far, being I think 18 days in, 19 maybe. So yeah, let's get into it. So basically, first thing I want to start off with is you can definitely cause yourself to have wet dreams and ruin their journey. First of all, I'm gonna premise it by saying like it low-key is a form of self-sabotage, because what you'll realize is that by going on this journey, bro, you're gonna be creating new neural pathways, new versions of yourself, and those new versions lead to a new frequency. Remember, your frequency is the culmination of your habits, your values, your beliefs, your experiences, and who you say you are to the present. That's your frequency right now. When you get on semen retention, you're killing off a version of you, basically, right? And that version is going to want to stay alive, so it's going to try and self-sabotage. But then what you don't realize is that you'll end up self-sabotaging yourself into having wet dreams simply because you'll be having so much lustful thoughts. I'll be seeing a lot of people that get on semen retention and they'll be like, oh, there's just so much fine shit everywhere I look. Like, I can't stop looking at shorties. And then they'll come to you in the video talking about, oh, yo, shorties are staring at me. This is a third, but it's just like game. You too focused on them staring at you. Like, you too focused on watching them for you to see that they staring at you for real. When you really think about it, because I know it's like low-key involuntary for me, because like with the semen retention, just on a regular for me, like my intuition is on point. So like if somebody's looking at me, I'm automatically gonna just know that they're looking at me on a real. But regardless, you don't have to turn, you don't have to look, you don't have to like be like so infatuated or just constantly be having lustful thoughts. And another thing is with the self-sabotage is that, let's say like you a reader, right? And you read mangas. For me, you'll end up on sites that have like a lot of those weird ads. You know what I'm talking about, right? Why would you go on those sites if you know that it might set you up to go back in or do some dumb shit that you don't gotta do? It doesn't make sense, right? Okay then. So, but that's what people end up doing, self-sabotage. Instead of leading themselves to A plus setups, and I'll be extrapolating A plus setups not just to trading, but also to life. Like when I'm going to do something, like think about it, when you walk outside the crib, bro, and there's days and times that you walk to the crib feeling your most confident, and you may have not noticed it, but it's because of the things that you did before you even walked out the crib that got you to the point where you would feel so confident and so good as you walked outside on a regular. That's the A plus setup. You want to be able to put together your own A plus setups and whatever you do. Okay, so now let's say you're taking on this journey, right? Why would you want to give yourself a C setup, a F setup, knowing that you're gonna fail, knowing that you failed, right? Doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? But a lot of people do, especially on this journey. They'll find subtle ways out. They'll find ways to self-sabotage so that way they don't gotta do it no more. That way they could be like, oh, you know, I already busted. Let me just do on a real. There's two types of wet dreams that you can have on this journey. The first one is the one where it'll just happen, and like you may not even have like a crazy dream. Like you may not even have no crazy dream, bro. It might just be like literally like it might just like be in your head. Like you're gonna see something, but it's really just mainly gonna be like just the ejaculation, like just the busting, really, right? And the other one is where you're constantly having a lot of lustful thoughts. So with the first one, you'll wake up feeling refreshed, maybe energized, cool, calm, collected, and you're gonna feel a little shitty because like you busted. But you don't gotta be too afraid because it's most likely just prostate. It's just prostate fluid for real. It's not a lot of semen because you're not having a whole bunch of lustful thoughts. You're not really entertaining any Jezebels in your dream, right? You good, pretty much. And then the other one is where you having OD lustful thoughts. Oh, there's mad fun shit around. I can't control myself. Oh, nah, really, I just love women whenever I see them. Like, yeah, it's cool. But you don't gotta put your heart and soul into every family you see. You gotta linger. Like in the Quran, it says, lower your gaze. What you gotta realize is that semen retention is fasting. Semen retention is fasting. It's fasting from lust. What dreams do not break your fast? But in the Quran and in the Bible probably says too, if you have already sinned in your mind, it is the same thing as sinning, actually doing the thing. So while you having all these lustful thoughts, always thinking shagging this and shagging that like a dog, what do you expect to happen? You've already sinned in your mind. There's no point in holding on. There's no point in actually holding on. Because the process has now been tainted. You already tainted it from the start. There's no point. You might as well restart, to be honest. Or else next thing you know, for that, you might want to go 100 days. If you start off the process with all that lust in your head, even if you get to 100 days, bro, the entire time it's going to be a gruesome process because you're constantly thinking about fucking. You're constantly thinking about sex. You're constantly thinking about getting some neck. You're not going to be able to actually do what you got to do. Me personally, bro, I don't think semen retention is nothing crazy. All I think is that you're trying to get to your most normal state. Truthfully, we've accepted that gooning is so normal that you don't even peep. That's really abnormal. In truth, your most normal state is to technically retain, bro. It's to have that energy. That's your most normal state. Yeah, everybody busting and not, busting and not, busting. Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. And then you expect to be able to retain for long periods of time when you're constantly thinking about sex, lust, you constantly doing things that are not right for you. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to work out the way that you actually wanted to. You got to set a proper foundation. You got to give yourself your A plus setup. If you don't have an A plus setup, if you're not giving yourself A plus setups, you low-key already failed. And it's not low-key a winning or losing game, bro. Because I think a lot of people don't understand that they're trying to it's like they're trying to rush against something. They're still looking for something. I see a lot of heads, a lot of people come onto the journey, and they're looking for that spark. They're looking for that glow. They're looking for the female attraction. They're just looking for something. And you think the longer I retain, the more I'm gonna receive. Bro, for me, all I want to do is get to my most normal state. Literally, I want to get to my most normal state. And that doesn't mean like my other attributes. Obviously, you do your goals and all those things like that. You make your bread, everything you gotta do, right? But you still, at the end of the day, you want to be in your most normal state with the most amount of energy, moving like how you're supposed to be moving, not moving like a bitch, not moving low on energy, not moving mad sporadic, not moving so hypersensitive. You don't want that. You want to be steady. If not for anybody else, for you. When you have lustful, wet dreams, you'll end up realizing that you'll wake up feeling drained and depleted. You'll feel like you actually busted a nut. Why is that? Because it's so full of semen. And what's semen? Your life force. What's semen? The source. It's life energy. If you're busting that out, like, it just doesn't make sense. If you busting that out, next thing you know, You're gonna feel depleted. You're gonna feel like, no, I should just restart. You know what? Since I busted, let me just bust 5 times and then I'll restart. Like I said, semen retention is fasting. You are fasting from lust. If something happens involuntarily, you did not break your fast. You weren't like you're not here. Like you were literally asleep. And besides, you gotta remember you may be a spirit in a human vessel, but you're still in a human vessel. It's gonna do what it gotta do. It's gonna clean out its own system. And I think for me, the reason why it was so fast tracked, like it was so fast tracked, was simply because I've been moving my energy around. And I just learned how to consciously move my energy around. Cause what I noticed that so many people don't feel like they're controlled by their balls when they get on this. Like it happened to me too in my other times. Like I would feel like everything would just be down there. The next thing you know, waking up break this fuck every single day. Like I eat a meal and all of a sudden I'm mad, Bert. Feel me? Like I'm feeling that familiar feeling, like on a real. But yeah, I got a big ass dick, so it's like that shit that ass being awake, especially when that my fault, y'all. But like yeah, on a real, it be in the way when that be happening. But now that I'm able to move my energy, I'm able to stop that, and I'm able to just move it to my other centers. So my energy is just moving through my body. It's like so I'm able to just apply my energy to other things, able to be focused 24/7. And like I was saying, like a lot of people come on a journey, they'll say like their balls, they feel like their balls is controlling them. That's the issue though. It's because you've been pretty much telling your energy go down. You've been telling your energy go down this entire time. You've been telling your energy go down. So you haven't corrected that flow. You gotta correct that flow. A good technique to do that is to focus your consciousness. Focus your consciousness on your balls, and then like feel like you're sweeping it up your spine while you breathe in. Like you wanna breathe in through your nose. You wanna feel like it's like a straw, and like you're just sweeping up the energy, and then like you just wanna do it, and you wanna relax your pelvic floor. If you don't, that's one of the things that makes you like buzz too quicker if you really didn't know that. Cause like it's like if you're constantly in that state, your body's gonna get used to always being in that state, always pushing through that on the real. So you gotta like relax and move the energy around, be able to move it around. What's the other things? So that's the two ways to have wet dreams. Remember, first one, you're gonna feel cool, calm, collected, and refreshed. The lustful one, you're gonna feel depleted, like you actually just busted a nut. You're gonna feel bad, like you won't feel bad probably. Okay, like I said, I already told you why that may happen. If you're having constant lustful thoughts. The other one is just your body just clearing out its system. It just has to clear out its system. Like I said about my personal journey right now so far, I think I'm 18 to 19 days in, and honestly, I'm doing what I gotta do. Like I'm doing what I gotta do, 110%. Um, I'm getting back into holding up with my strategy, like really strongly. Like I'm in a trade right now too. I was down for a while, but with my strategy I could hold like intraday and all that, so it's nothing really crazy. Like I said, just getting back into my strategy. I'm using the energy to focus, working out, meditating. When I stopped meditating, that's the thing that started to really mess with me. Because I stopped meditating for around like 3 to 4 days. That started to mess with me. It started to make me like hyper sensitive a little bit. Because obviously it's a lot of energy. That's why you gotta meditate to keep it collected, to be in control of that. So now I'm really applying it because you live and you learn, right? You learn and then you apply. And for me, knowledge without application is basically just air. So if you're not applying it, you're not doing nothing right. So you gotta sit up and be able to go and apply that energy. So that's why we doing it. And I think anybody that's on the journey, I think you should meditate. I think meditation would help you a lot. You'll be aware more aware of you and other people as a whole. And the thing is, like, you won't like really see your ticks. Like for a lot of people, for me, like I noticed like the small little changes within myself. Oh, I've always been able to do that for real. But like I noticed that like if you get too absorbed and you don't meditate or you don't like find ways to calm your mind and center your focus, you'll end up getting dragged every which way and you won't notice what could set you off. You won't notice those things until it's too late. And then you'll repeat the process and the same thing that set you off will set you off again until you realize that this is the same thing that happened last time. Why am I? If that's the truth. So when you meditate, you're able to learn a lot more about yourself. That's one of the greatest wisdoms ever, greatest knowledge, information ever is to learn more about yourself. Learn more about your roots. I'm making TikToks too. I should probably link that on YouTube. But making TikToks, shorts. I'm just really like prepping. I'm just prepping as a whole for basically like when I get my prop firm accounts, like I'm really just prepping for that because I'm just getting back into the habits and everything all together that way. When it's there, and when it's there, I'm there. Like I don't want to cling to nothing. I don't want to drag myself every which way. I want to just be clear, cut, and focused on everything that I'm doing and what I gotta do to the best of my ability when I do it. Something that has to be done and has to be processed. It's something in the school. I'm not really worried about it though. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get it done pretty soon. I was feeling like these past couple of days, I was feeling like pretty like heavy. So I knew it was like in a flatline period because that's how I was feeling pretty heavy, bro. I was feeling like I was feeling like sleepy in a sense, like groggy, like heavy. Like I can't really say too much on what it was, but I was really just feeling heavy, and I knew that was my nervous system resetting. It was resetting a little bit, but that's basically what I was feeling. And better. I'm better. I feel more refreshed, more ready. I'm not clinging to nothing. I'm not trying to rush anything. I'm just focusing because slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I think that was by, was it Napoleon Hill? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Napoleon Hill. What is to say for real though? Semen retention, I think you should really only be on it if you want to know who you are. Like, don't do it for all that attraction shit. Or you could test it out. You feel me? Semen retention is not really a linear journey. You feel me? Like it's like this and then it like on a real. So you could test. You could test. Do your test. Do what you gotta do. Go in as much times as you want to. But I think the earlier you start, the better. And another thing is that like I said, if you want to know who you are, it's a good thing because you'll have way more discernment. You'll feel more. You'll know more about yourself. You'll live a little bit more, a little bit better, and you'll go back to your most normal state in a sense, or you'll go forward to your normal state. Because in the real, bro, we didn't know. Like niggas, most of us started going in, bro. Like damn near right when puberty started, bro. So for me, it was like fucking 10, basically, nigga. Y'all niggas was later probably, but for me, it was 10 games. So I've been doing shit for like damn near fucking 9 years of my life, game. 8 years of my life. I gotta pay back the debt with another fucking 8 years no gooning. But on a real though, it's just to be my most normal state. Cause like, if you ever done like any type of drugs or like liquor, like if you smoked weed and liquor, you'll know, bro. When you smoke weed, you're a different person than who you are when you're sober, and you're a different person. I've never drank liquor, but I also know that you're definitely a different person when you drink liquor that than you are when you're sober. And I mean, like, the more that you smoke, right? The more that you smoke, like, the more you'll be able to just like handle being high on some shit. But that version of you when you high is not the real version. That version is chill, it's calm, but you don't feel. They don't feel nothing. It's not the same version as the normal version of you. And then let's say that you get off of both those things, but then you're still gooning. That version of you is also still not the real version of you. The real version of you is the one that's uninebriated, unaffected by any of that bullshit, unhypersensitive. Everything is in balance. Everything is in true balance. But when you're balanced here in the temple of God, when you're balanced here and here, that's when you'll be balanced externally. Everything else around you will also be balanced. Aim for that balance. Aim for that normal. Because remember, your normal is abnormal to everybody else. But you've never actually seen your true normal. And our normal will look way more beautiful than anything you've ever experienced. And you'll call it great. And you'll call it amazing. In truth, it's just normal. Truth.